Is it a good idea to purchase the PNY OC ARGB version of the RTX 5070 Ti? Is it cool and quiet or hot and loud? Let's find out. But first, let's take a look at the box. It is sealed over here. And at the back we see just a small list of features that this graphics card provides. Metal backplate is probably the most important thing on this list. Just want to carefully peel this off. Don't want to leave any of the residue behind or any pieces of this tape. Also, I appreciate how compact this box is for the size of the graphics card that is inside. Let's open this up. Nice. Additional padding at the top. That is always welcome to ensure that no harm will come to the graphics card during shipping. Quick installation guide. In several languages. What is this? Oh, this is a power adapter. 3 8-pin to a single 16-pin, because this is the connector that this graphics card uses. There are no more accessories in here. It's a huge caution sticker. Take a look at this. Electrostatic sensitive devices do not open or handle except at a static-free workstation. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Although I do discharge my static electricity by touching a radiator that is earthed. So it's just good practice, because while many of these devices are not that static sensitive, but if you do have a lot of static built up in your body, then you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. And take a look at this thick boy. Yeah, let's peel these tapes off. Where should we start? Is there any pull tabs? There it is. A pull tab over here. Another pull tab over here, that's good to see. Nice and easy. I can't say that I am a big fan of this shroud design, but this is supposed to be a cost-effective graphics card that just gets the job done. This is plastic and it feels pretty cheap. So it's on the cheaper side of plastics that you'll see on these graphics cards. Some logos at the top over here, PNY GeForce. And the backplate is indeed metal. And it looks good. Much better than the plastic shroud, but the thing is that as soon as you just stick it in there, if you're not mounting it vertically, then you won't see this. You'll just see this right here, which is fine. And you'll be looking at the backplate, which looks good enough, in my opinion, so yeah, I'll give it a pass. In terms of display connectivity, we get the latest HDMI. That's just one of those, and 3 display ports. Also the latest display ports. The PCIe port is protected by a plastic cover. That's always nice to have. There isn't much to get excited about in terms of visuals on this graphics card. These are supposed to be RGB lights. We'll check them out when I install this graphics card into my PC later on in this video. What is impressive though is the cooler. At a second glance, this cooler is actually better than I first thought, because there are actually 7 heat pipes on this thing. If you take a look over there, 5 heat pipes are piercing the heatsink on the right, and another 2 are actually coming out of the heat plate and piercing the heatsink on the left over here. That is nice. And take a look at that heat plate. It is elaborate. I looked it up. It doesn't appear to be a vapor chamber, although it does look like it. This looks like a solid, no-nonsense cooling solution, because all of the components that are supposed to be cooled actively are indeed cooled, including the memory modules right here and the power delivery system over here and the chokes over there. They're all connected to the heatsink. Nice. What's nice to see is that the metal backplate is actually connected to the back of the PCB in some places using thermal pads right there to help cool the memory modules from both sides. I'm talking about thermal pads over here, as well as over here for all of the memory modules. It features a nice sturdy construction. The build quality is great. There's nothing wobbling. It feels solid, even though I did say that the plastic feels cheap. At least the build quality feels great. It doesn't feel like anything will come off anytime soon. This is a great build quality as far as GPUs go. And take a look at that reinforcement right there. Yeah, that is quite nice. There's additional reinforcement plate running through here. It is connected to the bracket over here and continues on this side. That's good to see. Helps with rigidity. The graphics card doesn't flex. And the PCB is quite short. Take a look at that. It ends right there, which allowed PNY to make this cutout, although I don't know why they just blocked this over here. If we had a large hole over here, it would have helped with the airflow. Power is delivered via the single 16-pin connector located at the top. And PNY recommends at least a 750 watt power supply for this graphics card. There is no dual bias, so no silent or performance modes, just one standard operating mode. Let's measure this thing. It is, actually it's 300 millimeters long exactly. Nice. And in terms of height, that is 122 millimeters. And in terms of thickness, 3 slots exactly. Let's measure its weight. That's 1,291 grams. And that is 2.84 pounds. Here is what it looks like inside of a PC. Quite nice, actually. Thanks to that metal backplate. And from the side, just normal. That's what I told you. Yeah, that plastic shroud design does not really matter if you mount your GPU like this. And thanks to the fact that we have 3 anchor points on that bracket right there, as well as rigidity bracket over there. This graphics card does not need any GPU support whatsoever. It is fine. And there are quite a few RGBs on this thing. Take a look at this. One is on the backplate over here. PNY logo is also RGB. And let me just try and get right here, shot like this. Yeah. Basically, the ones on the plastic shroud, you won't really see those RGBs unless you mount this GPU vertically. By default, the RGBs are set to rainbow effect, which goes like this. By the way, you can turn off those RGBs completely. For that, you need this Velocity X application by PNY. And to get it, you can just go to the official PNY website or simply Google Velocity X PNY. That's the address that you want. For my personal use, I turned it off completely, and then you can just uninstall the app and leave the settings as they are. Now it's time to find out how this graphics card behaves in games under full load. The room temperature is almost 24 degrees Celsius, that is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is one of the worst case scenarios. I have Cyberpunk 2077 running, maxed out 4K resolution native with ray tracing enabled. And as you can see, the GPU is 100% loaded. It is consuming around 300 watts of power. The GPU temperature is hovering at around 72 to 73 degrees, sometimes hitting 75 degrees. Not a huge deal. This is pretty cool for a GPU. The core clock is boosting to around 2820 to 35 megahertz, and fans on the GPU are spinning at 53% of their capacity, 2000 RPM. Next up, the noise test. This is what I would call a good enough noise level. It's not super quiet, and it's also can't be considered a loud graphics card by any means. We've seen a measurement of 42 decibels. That is close to what is considered to be a nice, chill living room environment, which is at around 40 or below decibels. So yeah, 42, 43 decibels coming from this graphics card, well, from this system in general, is nothing to worry about. Although if you are super sensitive to noise, then this is not the graphics card to go for. You really want something a little bit more sophisticated in terms of a cooling solution for that super quiet environment. That said, for most users, this will feel really quiet. It is definitely nothing to worry about if you want to use your speakers and you don't use headphones. It is absolutely fine gaming on speakers with this graphics card sitting right next to you. It is absolutely fine. When the GPU is not loaded, those fans stop spinning, so it does have that 0 decibel mode. Let's see how the system behaves when it's idle. As you can see, it is significantly quieter when nothing is happening, no computation. And let's see how it behaves during idle conditions. The GPU is consuming around 36, 37 watts. The fans aren't spinning. and the temperature is sitting at around 50 degrees Celsius. In a room, a temperature of 24 degrees Celsius, that is close to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll probably cool down even further because this is how it behaves. About 10 minutes after we've done that test where we fully loaded the GPU for a prolonged period of time, although, it doesn't look like the GPU is cooling. It looks like it's stuck at around 50 degrees Celsius. A few more minutes have passed and the GPU is definitely not getting any cooler. So it's safe to conclude that this GPU will sit at around 50 degrees Celsius when idle. In terms of gaming performance, the RTX 5070 Ti is pretty versatile. You can pair it with a 4K monitor, you can pair it with an ultrawide 3440 by 1440p monitor, regular 1440p, or, if you are brave enough, even 1080p resolution. Although, I would recommend going for a higher resolution monitor, because that's where you'll get the best experience out of the 5070 Ti. By the way, you can enjoy ray tracing on this graphics card. If you're interested in learning more about the gaming performance of the 5070 Ti, I've tested it at various resolutions in separate videos. I'll link them in the description below. Check them out to learn more. Overall, I think that the PNY OC ARGB version of the 5070 Ti is a pretty solid choice, especially if the price is good. Basically, it's a no-thrills graphics card that just gets the job done properly, without being too loud and without looking horrible. It actually looks quite nice from this angle thanks to that matte black metal backplate. It gets my approval. By the way, if you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon and the links in the description below. Let me know in the comments below what do you think about this graphics card, and leave a like if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful. And subscribe for more if you want to see more videos like this. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.